Do other student groups have this kind of target on their back, or do you feel that you are being targeted because of the fact that it is in solidarity with Palestinians and against what Israel is doing to Palestinians?
Oh, this is 100% targeted. Every single protest that we have, there's a group of counter-protesters that bring all of their items, their flags and things like that, and they're not seen as having unsanctioned protests or really receive the kind of disciplinary warnings that many of our fellow organizers receive just for being seen at these protests.
That's a lie.
And so there is definitely some hypocrisy here, especially you can kind of see it with the students that were sprayed us with the chemical weapons and the fact that there is no public information as to what happened to them. Story. But rather the university is actively discussing what is happening to the students here and making it a whole public spectacle rather than when we haven't done anything to physically harm students, whereas those that sprayed those chemical weapons physically.
So the Charlottesville Tiki Torch protesters meet your match. This is the what do we call them? The Abercrombie and Bitch Infantata. The protesters at all of these college campuses. And that individual, that's Ilhan Omar's daughter, Isra Hersey, who was saying that, her group is 100% targeted. First off, the fart spray thing, that one of their own people pulled a prank. One of their own protesters pulled a prank on the other one, and they decided to make up a story and blame Jewish students for it and say that it was some kind of like chemical attack. And it was, that's so stupid. It defies all logic. But they're arguing essentially that they don't want any anti-protest to disrupt their protest. That's what she's arguing for. And she was one of the people who was taken into custody over the weekend because they were screaming invectives, and their protests go way beyond protesting for Hamas in Gaza. Like they are actively like denigrating Jewish students and making it unsafe by like barring their entry to certain buildings and all of this. So it goes way beyond that. That's why, by the way, that's why they were being removed. Welcome back to the program. Top of this second hour with you. Dana Loesch here. You can listen to the radio program across the country, and you can also watch the simulcast on all platforms everywhere. But that's it. Columbia University has also canceled all in-person classes as the protests have dominated the campus. And even like the rabbis in the area have been issuing warnings to Jewish students. So the Columbia University, all their in-person classes, because everything's been escalating. The school's rabbi warned Jewish students not to return to campus amid of horrifying spikes in extreme anti-Semitism. There's been a lot of stuff that I can't even play that's been on video because we'd have to censor the whole thing and you wouldn't be able to hear it. It's really nasty stuff. I mean, people aren't just like making this up. It's not hyperbole. I mean, I've seen, I don't know how much video there exists out there. People don't even care about being caught on video doing this and saying this stuff anymore. They don't care because they've been given a pass by the left. I mean, this isn't about protesting for Hamas in Gaza. And by the way, when you're protesting for Gaza, you're protesting for Hamas. This isn't about protesting for Gaza/Hamas. This isn't about protesting as a criticism of the Israeli government. These are organized students, organized by many, many different forces. And this is about targeting Jewish students on campus. And the fact that it's gotten so unsafe. So Columbia is private property. And so for NYPD to even be there means that the university had to call them. And the university is pretty leftist. For the university to have to call NYPD tells you everything that you need to know. They had to call and bring NYPD on their property because it's been that bad. That bad. And the way that these demonstrators, they make it to where if it's on the, they set up near Temple on the campus, or they set up and put their little tent cities out there so that they make it to where Jewish students must go through them or must go right past them in order to get where they need to go to access different parts of campus. It's done by design. It's purposeful for harassment, targeted harassment based on religion. And then when they get in trouble for their behavior, then they cry that they're the ones being victimized. And that's not how it works. They've been victimizing everyone else. Accountability isn't victimization. And so they've been, it's what, like right before Passover. They also at Columbia University and the NYPD, they actually made it clear that they could not guarantee Jewish students' safety. And then Ilhan Omar's daughter, this 21-year-old trust fund terrorist, claims that she has nowhere to live or eat after she was suspended from school. She's like, oh, I'm homeless now and I'm starving. Why don't you have your mom or your dad, uncle, whatever, help you out? That's just saying. Why don't you have one of them help you out? If you FA'd and then now you're FOing. So I don't feel bad for you. You don't get to be a victim. That keffiyeh that they wear, that's the new tiki torch. It's the exact same thing as the tiki torch in Charlottesville. They are those people. They are the exact same people. They just wear a scarf instead of the tiki torch. It's the same thing. And so she's like, I don't know where I'm going to sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do. Teen Vogue has been there to lionize her as far as its propaganda. And you want to know why young women, or why women in general, survey the way they do in all these polls that are taken? Because they're brainwashed from the time they're teenagers, impressionable young women, by everything. The media they consume, the women-oriented fashion, magazines, everything. It's all designed and organized to pierce the minds of impressionable young ladies and brainwash them. Of course, she was raised by Ilhan Omar, so, go figure. The failed rocket doesn't fall far from the launch site on top of the school building. It just goes to show. But she's the one who's victimized in all of this now, she was at Bernard College. She said the administration there hung her out to dry. She can't use her dining plan. Well, yeah, because you violated their rules on behavior. What did you think was going to happen? It's crazy. It's been anarchy there. Screaming. People have been saying, yes, we are all Hamas, and then a slur. That's what the protesters have been saying. And I'm not talking like one or two of them. That's what I told you. And the fact that a lot of these students can't even go to classes there safely is wild. Just wild. These colleges, they created this situation for themselves. And I hope a lot of people now see this is what we were kind of warning about. They're using the left always uses, they rehash the same tactics. This is the Occupy Wall Street tactic that these these campus protesters are using. They're just going to camp out. She's not homeless. She can get a little tent, live in one of those little tent cities. Right? Same difference. She's just she's struggling so much with her expensive iPhone and all of that stuff as she documents her struggle. My word. Just they're literally the exact same. That scarf is the tiki torch.